Maturity is not the conquest of adversity, but the quiet grace of accepting the suffering within it. These words by Albert Camus invite us to imagine Sisyphus happy, even as his boulder rolls back down the hill for eternity. Why? Because freedom begins the moment we stop demanding the world to be easy and reconcile with the beautiful tragedy of existence. As the Eastern philosophy says, life is like green tea. Only when it endures boiling water does it release its true fragrance. When you stop demanding the world to function according to your will and you accept pain wholeheartedly, that is when you find true liberation within imperfection. Today, through the classic masterpiece Jane Eyre by Charlotte Brontë, let us explore 3 levels of internal wisdom that lead to true maturity. Part 1. The wisdom of self-respect. Jane Eyre was an orphan, unwanted and treated like a stray dog in her own home. Her childhood was defined by the Red Room, a cold, terrifying chamber where she was locked as punishment for defending herself. She was bullied, gaslighted, and told she was wicked because she was poor. Pause for a moment and look at our modern lives. Why is chronic stress, insomnia, and self-isolation so prevalent today? One major reason lies in how we react to injustice. When faced with unfair treatment, many of us fall into a spiral of powerlessness, asking, "Why am I so inadequate? Why is life so unfair to me?" But Jane did not choose passive endurance. In that dark room, she had an epiphany. This injustice is not my fault. Accepting suffering is not about becoming a mental slave. It is about maintaining your self-respect. Jane chose to accept the pain of being an outcast, rather than accepting the lie that she was worthless. To be truly mature is to realize that suffering does not define your value. Your reaction to it does. Part 2. The wisdom of courage. Breaking the comfortable cage. After years at Lowood School, Jane became a teacher. It was stable. It was safe. But when her mentor left, Jane realized that this stability was actually a psychological cage. She was safe, but she was no longer growing. She chose to leave the familiar and step into the unknown of Thornfield Hall. How many of us are trapped in toxic relationships or dead-end jobs simply because they are familiar? We are like hikers stuck in a blizzard, terrified to move forward, yet slowly freezing to death where we stand. Erich Fromm once said, "The fear of freedom makes people choose to be slaves." We often mistake stability for safety, even when that stability is eroding our souls. Jane's journey proves that maturity requires the courage to walk out of a safe misery and face the uncertain storm. Accepting suffering means accepting the risk of change. To grow, the seed must first crack its shell. Part 3. The wisdom of integrity. Jane found love with Mr. Rochester, but at the altar, she discovered his secret wife locked in the attic. Rochester begged her, "Stay with me. We can hide from the world. I will give you everything." Jane was a penniless orphan. Staying was the easy lie. Leaving was the hard truth. She chose to leave, wandering the moors, starving and sleeping on cold rocks. This is the ultimate test of maturity. Are we willing to choose physical hardship over spiritual compromise? Many today sacrifice their values for a comfortable life or stay in toxic attachments because they fear loneliness. But Jane's voice echoes through time. The more solitary, the more friendless I am, the more I will respect myself. True freedom is not found in the absence of pain, but in the steadfastness of your conscience. It is the ability to say, "I love you, but I love my soul more." Conclusion: waking up from the perfect dream. In the end, Jane returned to Rochester, not out of necessity, but out of choice. She returned as an equal, a woman who had mastered her own spirit. Jane's life teaches us that you cannot control the boiling water of fate. But like the tea leaf, you can choose to release your fragrance through it. Message to the viewer. To those of you walking through fire right now, you are not your trauma. You are not your past rejections. You are the master of your own spirit. Stop running from the storm. Stand in it. Look at your pain and say, "You are part of my journey, but you do not own me." Maturity is waking up from the dream of a perfect life and falling in love with the beautiful, imperfect reality of who you are. Stay unyielding. Stay free.